welcome to the channel. I've built quite a few outdoor lamps in the past. They're around our yard in this place and that place. Most of them 120 volt, but some of them low voltage, and kind of enjoy doing this. And we had a dark corner in the backyard that needed some lamps, and I wanted to build low voltage sconces. So I began by just drawing up some ideas, and then did a rendering of this screen in our backyard where these lamps would reside. Tried to just come up with a design that I like the looks of, and as you see here, I even tried to render that in real life to see what it would look like as it casts light, and came up with a design that we went after. I designed completely in Sketchup first and then built it in real life, and I'm going to walk through how that went. I used aluminum extrusion. Aluminum extrusion you could buy off the shelf at Home Depot, mostly 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch angle iron, and then I bought 3/8 inch bar, 1/16 of an inch deep. The lamp is 3.5 inches square and 10 inches tall, and the hardest part were all those little pieces over to the left. I had to rip aluminum bar. Here's the Home Depot. They have a huge selection of aluminum pieces. You can buy all sorts of sizes and shapes. Again, I bought stuff that was 1/16 of an inch thick, and here are the parts after I had cut them. There are some miters, and there are also some straight pieces in the angle iron, and again I had to rip the bar. Here I am ripping the bar, just showing you how I went about this. I took my Stanley 78, I adjusted both the fence and the depth stop to be 1/2 of an inch wide and 1/16 of an inch deep. Then I wanted to find a way to rip these on the table saw safely, so I taped the extrusion into that groove that I rabbited in the 2x2, and I'll tell you, with a zero clearance insert on the blade and that extrusion taped tightly to the wood, there was absolutely no flying bits of aluminum, no catching on the blade, no nothing. It cut very cleanly. You can see here there's a pile of them I've already made. I wanted these little interior bars in the lamp to be only 3/16 of an inch thick wide, and so once you minus the blade out of a 1/2 inch bar, you end up with two 3/16 inch pieces. So I made all the pieces that way. As far as mitering, I kind of worked the same way. I taped the angle iron to a piece of 2x2 and ran the miter saw, or ran the piece through the table saw with a miter gauge, and got really nice 45-degree angles. So here's just a very quick assembly of the main frame of the lamp. It's really just 4 mitered pieces, top and bottom, and 4 10-inch pieces up the sides. I used pop rivets to hold it together, so I had a mechanical connection. And here I am frantically at high speed putting together that frame, drilling out with 1/8 inch pop rivets into this angle iron. I'm going to end up using JB Weld, the glue or epoxy, to put the other parts in these windows that are being constructed here out of the angle iron. But I wanted some mechanical connections at the corners where this lamp might feel the most stress. So I put it together with pop rivets. Lamps I've made in the past, some of the ones in those pictures, I'd done with galvanized steel and soldered all the joints. But I thought I'd try aluminum extrusions. The galvanized steel I had to bend, and this aluminum you could buy already bent. All you have to do is drill it. It takes paint really well, it won't rust, and soldering, at least for me, was kind of a pain. So I did pop rivets on the frame and glue on the inside. So once that frame was built, I made these wooden spacers so that as I put the horizontal bars in the windows, they would be parallel. And I was able to just put the block in, set the bars in, glue them into place, let those dry, set blocks in the opposite direction, put those vertical pieces in, let those dry, put the last two remaining center pieces in, and I would just square this up with a ruler to get those into place and let that dry. And I had my framework. I wanted it to be sort of a Craftsman, sort of a Frank Lloyd Wright look. And so this is the design that I came up with. I make a group out of that now, and SketchUp's real easy. You just make 3 of those, and you've got 2 sides and a front. The back is left open. And easy to do in SketchUp. It took quite a while to do in real life because I built 2 of these lamps, so there's a lot of gluing going on. Here I am kind of just testing sizes, cutting them with just nippers. The aluminum cut's really easy when it's only 1/16 inch thick and 3/16 of an inch wide. And so here I am using those spacers, gluing in the parts, using JB Weld, gluing those in. And again, I had to do this times 6, 3 sides per lamp, 2 lamps, and got all those parts in. The lamps are very rigid. This has just really worked out very well. I did the horizontal pieces. Here I am putting the vertical pieces in, checking my drawing to make sure I've got my spacing right. And it really went together, well, quickly per side, but again, there were 3 sides per lamp, so this whole procedure had to be done 6 times. Then I cut the plastic to work as the glass, and what I wanted was a frosted glass look, and I found in previous lamps that I've built that you can buy clear plexi. It comes with this blue film on it to protect it from being scratched. You can buy this stuff. There's a place in town called Tap Plastics where you can buy it out of a scrap pile for just a few cents. And so I cut all those pieces to fit, and I found to get a frosted glass look, all I had to do is simply sand the clear. You'd sand both sides of the clear plastic with just a hand sander, and you get a very nice transparent finish, but you can't see through it. In other words, you won't see all the ugly parts on the inside of the lamp, but certainly the light from the lamp shines out through that plexi very well with just a sanded surface. And so I just made all of those surfaces, sanded them all, inserted them, got them to fit and lay up nicely. And here I am kind of testing them for light in my shop. Here's the lamps a little bit further along. You can see what these things looked like when they were still just raw aluminum. There I doing a test with a lamp in the shop just to see how much light it cast. I'd turn the lights off in the room and make sure I had enough brightness coming off the lamp. So now I'm out there spraying them. I sprayed them with a gray primer at first, gave that a light sanding, and then sprayed them with a satin black. And they took the finish very well. I hope they hold up. Then as far as mounting them, I simply mounted them on 1x4 red cedar. And I cut a groove in the cedar, and you'll see when I built the top, the back side of the top rests in that groove to make it maybe just a little bit more waterproof. And I riveted a little tab on the bottom to screw it to the wood on the bottom side. I drilled a hole in the angle iron on the top to screw it into the wood on the top side. Then I used one of these clip nuts and a knurled thumb screw. I put that clip nut on that front piece, and then that thumb screw screws through the top of the lamp so that later on when you have to remove the lamp to maybe replace a light bulb, it's fairly easy to do. The top was just made out of a sheet of aluminum with 3 pieces of the angle 1/2 inch angle on 3 sides. And again, you just grab that top, you tuck it into the groove in the piece of cedar. It just slides right down like that. And you put in the thumb screw, and you'll see the finished product here in a minute. It looks really good. It works really good. The lamps sit high enough that you really can't see the top of the lamp anyway. So that's what a finished one looks like. So I built 2 of those. The insides was, kind of hokey. I just used bent aluminum, glued a low voltage socket to that, put a low voltage lamp in it, and just simply wire nutted it to the low voltage wiring. Here I am just screwing it down. That's what the inside of it looks like. The piece of plastic on the bottom, the window on the bottom, I left clear because I wanted as much light as possible to come out of the bottom of the lamps, and there they are. Now here I am out in the yard. This is the low voltage transformer, and there they are mounted on that screen in our backyard. What was once a very dark corner in the yard now has a great glow. And here's a little video of me checking them out in position on the first night that they were installed. If you'd like a plan for this lamp or any of the lamps that I've built, just ask for them in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.